It's going to be interesting, though, to see what Trudeau does next, though, because he's already made quite the jump. Drama teacher to prime minister.
Yeah, could be Uber driver.
Well, I have a better one. I think if he really wants to up the ante, I think he fires up that OnlyFans page pretty soon, because we all know how much he loves to screw people.
And wow, are we ever going to be shedding some light on exactly how he has gone about doing that? I'm Jasmine Lane. This is Over Opinionated. Like, share, subscribe. The responses to Justin Trudeau's resignation have been very interesting to go through. Isn't it crazy to you how, American media and actually just media outlets around the globe are faster at reporting, more factual at reporting, and also just much more entertaining to listen to than our own media that our taxpayers pay for to some degree?
This show is a cautionary tale for leaders in power. If you start to get disconnected from the people that you have been elected to represent, you won't stay in office for long. And honestly, it was funny that I have a little kind of anecdotally, I saw this firsthand with Justin Trudeau. But when I was in Ukraine training the Ukrainian armed forces, we had Canadian service members who were there with us, and Justin Trudeau came to visit. So he comes to a military base, where his service members are deployed, showing up. He's got, no tie on. He's got just a blazer, his aviators on, khaki, just like hanging out. He takes one picture with them and says that they can't come and approach him afterwards. They were not even allowed to, I don't even know if they were able to shake his hand, some of the kind of rank and file soldiers. And I just thought, that's something you would never see from President Trump, for example. And President Trump, he shakes every member's hand, and he's connected to people. And that's what Justin Trudeau is missing. And that's ultimately why you see him resigning today.
Fascinating. Yeah, the Secret Service, Harris, has to beg Trump not to go out into the crowd. Exactly. So kind of opposite.
We've got some stuff coming up from Jordan Peterson, Danielle Smith, as well as Elon Musk, who responded to Justin Trudeau in a pretty hilarious, humiliating way. Every single one of these just drops some absolute bombs on the guy's failed leadership. But before we get to those, I wanted to highlight something that a lot of Canadians don't know. And this is something that the Liberal Party has essentially made a career out of blaming Conservatives for, even though their own party allows for this to happen. It's completely legal. It's the most outrageous thing you could ever hear.
The Liberal Party is poised to allow people who can't vote in the next federal election to be eligible to pick the next prime minister.
When the Constitution was written for the party, the foreign interference as we know it now was not as big of a concern. But things have changed.
Liberal MP Yasser Naqvi's worry based on how the Liberal Party accepts new members. Head to their website, say you're over 14, provide a Canadian address, and you're officially a Liberal. No payment required. That means over 3 million non-permanent residents in Canada, including international students and temporary foreign workers, would be allowed to vote in the upcoming leadership race.
Now, when it comes to voting in a federal election, you have to be a Canadian citizen, you have to be 18 plus. However, under the Liberal Party's own bylaws, and every party has this differently, I think the NDP's, if I'm not mistaken, is the strongest in terms of eliminating this potential threat or interference. Anybody residing in Canada, including foreign nationals, including temporary workers, temporary students, or international students, can register to vote for who they want to be the Liberal leader. And you don't even have to clarify if you live in Canada. This is something that has been exploited in years past. And it's really interesting because the Liberal Party cares so much about foreign interference, right? Russia. Meanwhile, the Foreign Interference Commission has raised concerns about this rule that they have, or lack of rules, many, many times. There has even been intelligence on people who were using falsified documents to help foreign nationals vote. However, nonetheless, the Liberal Party has continued on with this really weak policy. And you would think that a party that puts so much emphasis on get your security clearance, oh, Russia, you're a Russian asset, Tucker Carlson and Jordan Peterson, that they would, I don't know, maybe they wouldn't just pretend like this isn't a massive, massive flaw. But don't worry, guys, it's every other party you have to worry about when it comes to foreign interference except for the Liberal Party. Don't worry, listen to what they had to say.
I will be encouraging our party executive to make sure that we have all the rules in place to ensure there is no foreign interference.
But the party seems unwilling to change eligibility requirements. Our open and inclusive process ensures we hear from more people in the communities we engage with, the party said in a statement, a sentiment backed by a former party president who believes a short leadership race will make it harder for foreign actors to impact.
That is seriously the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, foreign nationals, foreign leaders are very aware of what's been going on in Canada in recent years. They have probably, if they plan to, been planning to do something to pick a leader that benefits them for a very long time. Just going to throw that out there. You know, these people aren't stupid.
I think they should be looking at some other changes to how they select leaders. Because I think if you designed a leadership process in a lab to maximize foreign interference, you would probably come up with the current Liberal Party leadership selection process.
But let's be real here. Justin Trudeau had no intent of actually stepping down. He still doesn't want to, and for all we know, he might still lead us into the next election. That's the thing. They don't necessarily have to find a new leader by March 24th. It'd be stupid if they didn't, but they don't have to. They could spend months. They could take us into the next election. Oh, we still haven't found anybody yet, so I guess it's me because we didn't find anybody. Oops, I wonder how that happened.
Well, he's eliminated the functions of Parliament. He's shut down Parliament. He's put a close sign on the chamber, and he's shut down the committees that were going to do exactly what you're saying, litigating his record and coming up with recommendations on how to undo the damage of the Liberal government for the past 9 years. Instead of doing that, he shut down. And you are right, and our leader is right. Now we've got cabinet ministers who are supposed to be preparing for the incoming U.S. administration, supposed to be dealing with the economic challenges that they themselves have caused. They've been pretending to say they're going to be coming up with all kinds of economic plans, and rather than doing that, they're going to be calling backroom insiders and well-connected senior Liberals to raise money and build power coalitions within a political party. They put their internal party intrigue ahead of the best interests of Canadians. It's shameful.
And for the record, proroguing isn't anything new. However, doing it in a time frame like this, doing it in a situation like this is definitely new and definitely catastrophic for Canada as well. And why would Justin Trudeau do that? I think he was hoping that people would just forget about all of that stuff, you know, slate clean. But here's the thing. You can prorogue Parliament for literally a day. You can wipe out all of those bills, wipe out all of the current discussions for a day. He could have prorogued Parliament until they come back, or were supposed to come back on January 27th. And he didn't do that. Nope. What he did instead was prorogued until March 24th, which completely protects his government from the non-confidence vote, which he also alluded to in his speech about this.
And there is always going to be the challenge of having a leadership race while a parliament would face confidence votes in the course of delivering supply to the government,
while also completely screwing us with zero opportunity at all to address and collaborate and figure something out regarding Donald Trump, who is inaugurated on January 20th.
Our Conservative province will have a partner in being able to do development. We'll have a partner in building pipelines. We'll have a partner in development. We'll have a partner in productivity growth. And we'll have a partnership, I think, that will be a really strong ally of the United States. So if the Americans can wait just a few months, I think you're going to see quite a dramatic turn in this country.
Why is he putting Canadians in such a dire, stressful situation when he could just as easily say, okay, we're calling an election. We know we're going to lose anyway. We're calling an election. The answer to that, for anybody who's been paying attention, is quite clear. He doesn't want to leave at all, actually, but maybe he's hoping that by announcing his resignation, it might change the perspective. It might help the Liberals in the polls just a little bit. It might help his popularity a little bit. He is doing this 110%. As a way to cling on to power. And he can go and tell you all he wants how much it's about Canadians. No, this is not about Canadians. And I don't think it's been about Canadians for a very long time with him.
You know, I've never heard Justin Trudeau say a true word in his entire life. I'm a pretty astute clinician, and I can, if I pay attention, I can tell the difference between someone who's, you know, merely wrong and trying his best, and someone who just lies with every single breath. And he is definitely a person like that. Everything he does is an act. And his resignation speech was an act. You could tell because today he started out with the words, well, everyone knows that I'm a fighter and I don't give up. And I mean, Pierce, I don't know about you, but I can't imagine myself ever saying something like that in public. Who would say that?
I know.
I'm a fighter.
Especially as you're giving up.
Really?
Especially as you're literally giving up.
Well,
it's like, I quit, but I'm not a quitter. Yes, you are. You're literally quitting in front of our eyes.
Yeah. Well, and it's also the case that you saw in that opening salvo exactly his preoccupation with himself.
Yeah.
It's like, this is all a drama about Justin Trudeau as far as Justin Trudeau is concerned. You all know I'm a fighter. It's like, actually, Justin, at the moment, we don't give a damn if you're a fighter. Actually, we don't give a damn about you, period. This isn't about you. It's about the fact that over 9 years, you have moved Canadians from parity in terms of per capita GDP. We were equal to the Americans 9 years ago, equal. And now we're at 60%, which is also, by the way, the case for you guys in the UK. And that's 100% attributable to Justin Trudeau and his nightmarish, woke, leftist, weak policies.
And in a moment of even more weakness, and it's always funny to me, and you see this all the time when you start being really observant about particularly malevolent people in your life. They always think they sound so cool and so tough when they sound so pathetic and weak, like it's embarrassingly bad. We did a whole video on this yesterday, really breaking down all of it. So if you haven't watched it, I will link it in this video. But yesterday, Donald Trump was at a press conference where he shared basically his plan to put Canada into economic collapse. And he also shared that Justin Trudeau was the one who told him that Canada would essentially cease being a nation if it were not for the United States, which is just baffling to me. But after that, you had Justin Trudeau, who after giving up and saying, okay, bye, see ya, and abandoning us, okay, bye, I don't want to talk about it until March 24th, decided to take his own advice. Oh, I'm a fighter, so I'm going to finally, a month too late, respond to Trump about this. And he made this post, which has just blown up in all of the worst kinds of ways. We'll be sharing that after this, but I had to show you Mark Miller, who is just like, I don't have words for him. Mark Miller is just so disappointing. Just please stop talking, actually. You think you sound really cool, and you don't at all. It's really lame and just yucky, and nobody cares either. Like, you're literally gone. Nobody cares, okay, Mark Miller? But nonetheless, he had this to say, as though this is going to somehow make Americans and Trump like us more.
There's a chance in hell it's going to happen. They'd have to find us on a map, but it'll take them maybe a few years. Look, I said a couple weeks ago, this is like an episode of South Park. I'll start to get worried when they confirm Eric Cartman as the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Like, this is, it's silly. It's unbecoming, frankly, of a president, any president that would say that. But we do have to take it seriously, and I think...
Why are you self-sabotaging, sir?
He has a 73% disapproval rating, including 43% of liberal voters. Chrystia Freeland called out Trudeau's costly political gimmicks in her resignation letter. That was a reference to his $4.5 billion plan to send $175 checks to everybody in the country making less than $105,000 a year. His signature carbon tax has reduced real incomes across the country, according to Barry Weiss over at the Free Press. Canada's record on immigration is insane. They had 1.1 million new immigrants who came to the country in 2022 alone. Many of those people do not exactly share Canada's values, driving up anti-Semitism in the country. Violent crime has skyrocketed under Trudeau's leadership. Homicides rose by more than 50% between 2014 and 2022. There's now more violent crime on a per capita basis in Canada than in the United States, which is insane. You remember the trucker protest. You remember the guise of combating disinformation, where Canada's Online News Act was sold as a way to make social media companies pay news organizations when linking to their content. In reality, it was an attempt to shore up legacy media, the rise of assisted suicide, the rise of drug use, Trudeau's poor judgment.
But nonetheless, Justin Trudeau decided, you know what, even though everybody loathes me and really just wants me to get out of their lives, today's the day that I'm going to fight for Canada. And he posts on X that there isn't a snowball's chance in hell that Canada would become part of the United States, Workers and communities in both of our countries benefit from being each other's biggest trading and security partner. To which Elon Musk savagely responded this morning at 2 a.m. Girl, you're not the governor of Canada anymore, so doesn't matter what you say. That's kind of what a lot of us are thinking. Kind of doesn't really matter anymore, Justin Trudeau, and maybe you should do what's best for your country and call an election ASAP. That would be great. I'm Jasmine Lane. This is Over Opinionated. Thank you so much for spending your time with me and watching this video. If you've made it this far, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment your thoughts down below.